Good evening and welcome to SPORLITIKS, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd. We've got a packed show for you tonight. Israel declares war on Hamas. NASCAR with Stephen as he talks about the playoffs. The United States, that is, does not have a Speaker of the House of Representatives as Representative Bobart, still opposes Representative Scalise of Louisiana. How's your team doing in week 5 of the NFL? I know how the Eagles are doing. Aguna will talk about that. The U.S. government averted a shutdown, but we still are on a countdown. College football week 7 and Major League Baseball playoffs right now. I hope you're watching the Phillies beat the pants off the Braves like they came to Philadelphia and stole something. I'm sure Keith will have something to say about that. Representative George Santos, the gift that keeps on giving, is facing new federal criminal charges today and insists that he will not accept a plea deal and he will run for re-election. That and more if we can fit it in. First up, let's start with Stephen and NASCAR. Stephen, what did you want to talk about?
Well, we had a great race. It was a road course here. I can't remember where it was, but Allmendinger won the race. It's the first race he's won since 2021. He's not full-time NASCAR, but he'll jump in every now and then with the road course because he's a specialist. But it was a really nice race. It's exactly what you want in a road course. The only thing that's really bad is we're in the playoffs now, and to have a road course in the playoffs when you have guys that are naturally not proficient in road course tracks, they have a hard time, and it really hurts them. So the couple guys I wanted to see get a little further just to see what happened to shake things up, like Ross Chastain, the guy I always talk about, my favorite driver for the last couple of years because he's crazy. He didn't make it. Bubba had a good chance of making it this year, which would have been a really great like storyline for NASCAR if he could, even have gotten close. There's 4 more races left, but they're out. Everybody's out. Everybody I really, really want, but there's some really good drivers left. William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Hamlin, Larson, Chris Buescher, which he is a dark horse. These are races coming up, these next 4 that he could do well in. And they're just regular tracks and nothing crazy. He could do well from coming way back there. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney is the last one. So there's be another elimination after this race, another elimination after that race, another elimination until you get to the end for the Arizona race. So it's winding down. The year is winding down. It's been a bit of a disappointment, but I tell you what. If you really want to put something on it or pull for somebody, it's there. The points at this time are skewed to where everybody's really close. The top 5 is where you really need to look because they're there for a reason and they are the best drivers. But I think
who are they? Who are the top 5?
The top 5 is Byron, Truex Jr., Hamlin, Larson, and Chris Buescher. Well, Christopher Bell is 6. Tyler Reddick. I mean, and they're all good. They're all good drivers. They all have an excellent chance. This is what's good about this is nobody's out of it. The person in 8th place can win, and get in next week, and then maybe win the next race or something, or get a top 5 or whatever. Nobody's out of it right now. Everybody has such an even shot to make it all the way. That's why they did it this way. There never used to be a playoffs years ago. But for a few years now, I don't even know how many years, they've done this where they've had the playoffs, and it's turned a lot of people off. but I like it because it lets these guys that are still running, that I mean not still running, that are still running for the win, for the big win, to win it all. It makes it a lot more interesting, a lot more fun. Every lap matters, and it keeps you glued. So hats off to NASCAR. The next 4 weeks are going to be pretty wild.
Okay. So, thank you, Stephen. Do we want to go into the Phillies, or I think I want to wait till Nas comes on for the Phillies, since he talked so much trash about the Atlanta Braves beating the Phillies. And right now, I think we are, 7 Philadelphia Phillies, 7 Atlanta
That's
Braves,
8.
2.
It's 8-2.
Is it? No. Is it?
It is 8-2 in the I think it's the end of the 6th.
No,
So
it's the end of
everyone's
the
at 7.
6th. I got it right now.
Yeah. So it's
The computer didn't catch up yet.
It's 8-2 into the 6th. And I mean,
right.
The Braves bullpen is pitching tonight, so we should win this. I mean, we should actually be on the verge of sweeping them after that game 2 debacle. We were up 4 runs and they came back. So I mean, it is what it is. This will be the second year in a row, though, if we can pull this series off.
All right, I'm having some technical difficulties with my with this computer. So I'm gonna go on and talk about NFL and what the Eagles did, or do you want to start with Deion's team with college football?
Well, either way, I mean, Deion.
Go ahead, start with Deion's team with the college football.
Okay. I wasn't even following Colorado this weekend, but I guess
they won.
Well, they did win. They played Arizona. It was a good game. Now that I think about it, I can recall. But yeah, so Deion's doing a good job. He hit a speed bump with some of the ranked teams, but that's to be expected. It's his first year. He hasn't really had a chance to recruit, but he's really put Colorado back on the map as far as just the national stage. So it's still a good news story. He's at least going to be in a bowl game, which is great considering this team was 1-11, 1-10 last year. So yeah, I mean Colorado is the new Miami. Back in the day there was Miami. Everybody wanted to, root for Miami. Had all the, had all the superstars. Michael Irvin, all of them were playing for him. So now it's like the new wave of Miami, where I know people that don't even know where Colorado University is. Okay, they don't know where it is, but they're wearing Colorado shirts and acting like they went there to go to school just because of Deion, right? So it's a branding thing as well. People wearing shades and all that. So again, from a marketing perspective, it's a good news story. We'll see what happens in the next couple of years, because like Deion said, he's like, you better get me now, because a couple of years from now, it's not going to be like this. So,
well, he's going to get the recruits. Everybody's going to want to go there and mix with the stars. That Colorado's better now than you go to the West Coast and be on the ocean and have a great life out there. They'd rather be hanging with a superstar that knows all the superstars, and they come around and visit, and it's just. The way that's where I would lean, and that's why the school is going to get so much better. The best players are going to go there, and like you said, next couple of years, kind of look out. They're going to be a contender, a real contender. If he stays there, somebody might want to pull him somewhere else, but he seems kind of happy. I hope he does stay there.
Cowboys. He's going to coach the
Cowboys. Right. Well, he would do a better job than what they have.
Yeah. Well, that.
All right, so
I wouldn't disagree.
Aguna, anything else with college football? I mean, college football is a big, vast universe. There were a lot of games this past weekend. Alabama isn't where they should be. Georgia really did good. I watched that Georgia game Saturday night. It was really good. I watched a little bit of Deion's game when Shedeur Sanders kind of ended up throwing a touchdown and then kind of jumped on one of the opposing team player and did his show off, whatever. Anything else in the world of college football?
No, it's going to be interesting with the top 4 teams. It looks like Georgia's going to be in the conversation. I think Michigan, as well as Ohio State, of course. So I think they still got some good teams. And then Florida State. How can I get Florida State coming out of the ACC? So it's going to be interesting to see what those top four, how that plays out. I think Florida State has, you got the ACC championship game coming up, so they'll probably end up playing North Carolina maybe or something like that. So they're still both undefeated. And then USC is also undefeated, I believe. So, yeah, there's some teams that, we'll see how they shake out. Penn State's in the conversation. So the one good thing still with the playoffs in college sports, college football is every week is a playoff game, basically. So if there's an upset or somebody stumbles, you're pretty much done for the year. So it's pretty intense and competitive in that regards. But yeah, I think Georgia's going to be there. Even if they lose the SEC title game, they'll probably still be in at least the playoffs, and then Ohio State and Michigan. So we'll see what happens. So we got about 5 more weeks to go. So looking forward to seeing how it shakes out.
Did you see where the
good one? Oh, finally.
Sorry.
I can share my screen. I was having all these technical difficulties. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally. Yeah, at the top of the 7th.
Difficulties. Yeah, you just told me. Oh, yeah, top of the 7th. You were right. They can see it now, right?
Stretch. Hello?
Just saying.
Welcome to
Stop
SPORLITIKS,
trying to change
politics.
the topic.
Mix and mingle. We've got Nas on finally. Sorry, Nas. I was having a lot of technical
difficulties. He sounds like an angry black man.
Y'all were talking about college football.
What's going on
Stop
here?
trying to change the topic, man. That ain't right. And hold on. There was one story y'all forgot. The story of the week in college football. One of the greatest stories of all time. University of Miami, which was undefeated, looked like they were having a resurgence back to what they were. They've got a coach there who's really good at recruiting, not so good at coaching. So he has this machismo thing going to where his thing is at the end of games, he doesn't like to do the QB kneel. He wants to continue to play against the other team and run the ball. So Miami runs the ball when they could have kneeled down and ended the game. The player fumbles. Georgia Tech gets the ball with 2 seconds left, throws a touchdown, beats Miami, ruins their playoff, ruins their season, and Mario Cristobal is a terrible, terrible coach. So yeah, the Miami meltdown. That was the story of college football. Beautiful story.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize.
You're right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it.
Aguna is asleep at the wheel. Aguna is asleep at the wheel. Aguna is asleep at the wheel.
Yeah. I'm much of a man, but I can't be everything to everyone at all times.
You could if you perspire to do so.
But no, the reason why this is so funny is though, obviously you should kneel down at a point when you're winning and there's only a couple seconds left.
Clearly.
But the point was everybody's like, okay, why did he do this? Then they started looking back towards the other games in the season. And what they found was he would not do a kneel down at any other point in the season. He would always try to run the ball at the end of a game to show that his team was the dominant team or something. I don't know. But, yeah, this man might get himself fired with that nonsense.
All right. I want to ask Todd, what was the difference between Georgia Tech and Georgia? Todd,
well, Georgia Tech, they got to go to class.
Todd, do you know the difference between Georgia Tech and Georgia? Todd only shows up when it's time for him to say something, if you notice.
Well, I don't know. Is he must be getting ready for the prom. You going to the prom, Todd? What's going on? You got a tuxedo on? Dang, I feel privileged. Yeah.
With the roses in the back.
I know. Look at him. Man, I have this dance.
He's got all those fresh flower roses in the back.
This is amazing, man.
So, Todd, what's the difference between Georgia and Georgia Tech?
The difference is one is going to the Super Bowl and the other one is going to the World Series.
Alrighty.
All right, now did we get that out the way?
Okay, we got that out the way.
We got that out the way. With our lives.
We can continue with our lives. Let's go on to the NFL. No, I think I want to go back to Major League Baseball.
Great week in the
That's where we need
NFL.
to go.
Man, it was a great week in the NFL.
No. We're going to go back to Major League Baseball where the Phillies are beating who? Who are the Phillies beating, Aguna?
The Phillies
one
are
and
beating
only.
the Panthers.
The Atlanta Braves.
Oh.
Yeah.
It
This
ain't over,
is-
baby. It ain't over. All we need is a back-to-back and then a grand slam, baby. We still in it.
Yeah, I
You know
mean,
those
is
losers. It ain't
clearly is
over.
not over.
All
We
we
saw
need
what
is
happened 2
everything.
days ago. We saw what
Yeah,
happened
all
2
we
days
need is
ago.
everything.
Yeah.
Let me. What
Yeah.
kind of shirt is that Aguna has on?
Soccer, maybe.
No, it's the Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles.
This is a throwback. This is the year after they transitioned from the Franklin Hornets or whatever, or the Franklin Yellow Jackets or whatever. They yeah. This
Throwback,
is a
or is that
One
just
Nets jersey.
old?
What?
Is that a
Excuse you?
throwback, or is that just old?
Cookie
Either
time.
way, I'll take either way. I'm easy in that regards. Either way, throwback, old, I'll take it. Thank you, Todd.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. So I just wanted to show the screen
Since you're
to
dressed
those
like a
of you.
valet, go get my car.
Oh, you are so. Those little corny lines you have. Anybody that
Are
knows.
you serious? You're going to talk about corny, Todd?
Yes, I'm talking
let's
about
not,
corny.
let's
Anybody
not,
who
let's
knows fashion is saying one thing. There is no valet that looks like that.
really?
Yes, ma'am. Now that shirt you got on, that would be
What's up?
more of a valet.
The Eagles game, I'll take that too. I work for tips, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Blue collar, pull yourself up for your bootstraps.
Yes.
I'm good with that. See, I'm not worried about image, Todd. All right, I'm not worried about all that, Mr. Wingtip. All right, I'm not worried about all that. I'm here for the people.
Hey, Todd.
I'm here for the people. I'm not here.
The flowers are a nice touch. The flowers are a nice touch. You should have one in your lapel.
Listen at this. Really?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
You're getting fashion tips from Steven.
Yeah, you got flowers behind you. You should have one of those in your lapel. It would tie everything in.
Hey, man, he's just trying to give you some advice. He got the maritime theme going on. That's Captain D's over there.
Yeah.
That's right, man.
Is that a neck warmer? Is that a neck warmer or your beard, Todd? All right.
What? This is you mean this shirt that I have on?
No.
Bring the camera back to me. Bring the camera back to me. What are you talking about?
You getting on a flight with that? Oh no, that's your beard. I thought it was like a neck warmer. The neck pillow when you get on the airline.
Do you have a beard?
I thought it was a dickie.
Let me see that.
That's
all right. So let me go back to my screen. I want to make sure you guys see this. June 8th, the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies 2-8 in the top of the 7th inning, and I think somebody by the name of Horatio or Nas was talking so much trash the other day. So much trash about the Phillies not winning.
I don't remember him doing
Atlanta. That. Oh, okay.
No.
Fake news.
I do.
That's fake news.
Oh, now we're fake news.
Yes, those are alternative facts.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to – I mean, with the Braves bullpen pitching tonight, I don't know what else you would have expected. The Phillies needed this game. I mean, if they would have lost this game, it would have been really a long series. So we'll see.
Yeah. So
now you're on the edge of elimination.
Series.
So
yeah. So Nas, your pain will be over shortly. Don't worry. Just like it will be with the Atlanta Falcons. On to the NFL. Aguna, talk about the Eagles, and then Steven about your Commanders.
Redskins.
No, it's pretty cool to have a home game in LA. So the Eagles went out to La La Land and they handled their business, SoFi Stadium. And it was thing about LA, because they don't, again, fair weather fans, right? So they sell a lot of their tickets. Eagles show up and they show out like most away teams there. So they had a really solid game. I mean, the defense stepped up. The Rams are one of those middle of the road teams right now. They have some good young receivers. So it still was a test for our secondary. But for the most part, the
wait. Stop. Todd.
Yes.
What's a secondary?
A second, duh.
Comes out to the
Second.
first theory.
Todd, were you looking at yourself in the mirror just now? What are you doing over there? Stop it.
Narcissist.
Somebody.
He's a narcissist.
Humanity is a sin.
Are you
You
kidding
need
me?
to cut it out,
Secondary.
man. What the hell?
Cousin Todd,
Look,
what's the
if
secondary?
you have a mirror next to your screen, you need to put it down. All right.
Listen.
Todd, what's the secondary?
You're adjusting your makeup.
Will you let him
Wait,
finish? Aguna, will you let him
Oh,
answer
go ahead.
what the secondary is?
What's a secondary, Todd? What's a secondary and a primary?
Secondary is what the hockey players use when they need more forwards on the ice. And the first
Oh, well,
dairy,
at least he knew. At least he
Look,
knew
look,
that
look.
hockey
Thank
uses
you, Todd.
forwards.
Yeah, it's true.
At least
I think
knew
he knows
hockey
more
used
than he's
forwards.
saying. Yeah, he knows
No,
more than what he puts on.
He
He's
doesn't know that.
screwed. He
No, he
knows
doesn't know
stuff.
that. No, he
You know
doesn't. Go
more
ahead,
than I
Aguna.
do.
Continue
Oh,
highlighting
God.
or whatever you were doing over there, Todd. Thank you for all that you are and all that you can be. Right? So as I was
Somebody's
talking
got to
about the
bring the beauty
Eagles
to the show because
and their
with you
defense,
ugly people, I can't.
hey, can we borrow some of your makeup, Todd? Are you gonna pass that out? You know what I'm saying?
He knows more than I do.
You're
You share the love. I know. It's just,
you're far too dark.
okay, fine. Oh, okay. Oh, excuse me. And my foundation will have to be a little different because of my Nigerian complexion. Clearly.
And I don't have
Clearly,
on
all right?
any
So-
makeup, just to be clear. Stacy,
Oh,
bring
your
that
skin
camera
is-
back to me one more time.
Let your skin breathe. Oh, that's nothing. That's just cocoa butter. You just put cocoa butter
No
on the
makeup.
The show's on, man.
I know, right? You
This
should have done
is
that
not
in the
this is not
dressing room.
pre-show. This is not after
NFL,
show.
NFL.
All right, so
Aguna.
Stacey, you're the one. You're the one, Stacey. Just to let you know, for the record, you're the one that pan the camera. So, going back to the Eagles, they went out there, they handled their business, they won. They've gotten a lot of criticism over the last 5 weeks for not looking Super Bowl ready or whatever, but they're like a grind you out team. You know, a lot of times, even if you look over the last 2 seasons with Sirianni, they beat the teams they're supposed to in a manageable way. So where you have a San Francisco that's trying to be world beaters and make statement games, the Eagles just grind it out, get the win, go home, preferably injury-free, and go on from there. So this week we have the Jets. Very good defense. We're going to be on the road. The Jets historically have never beaten the Eagles in the history of their franchise. So it'll be interesting. You go up to MetLife. And Zach Wilson, he doesn't scare you, but at the end of the day, if you let a team like the Jets hang around, they still have a very formidable defense. They still have weapons on offense. So you let Zach Wilson get going, you never know what can happen. But at the end of the day, the Eagles are 5-0. I was hoping for at least 7-1 by the mid-year, the half-season mark. So we'll see how that works out because they got a couple of
Boy, that's aspiring.
tough
That's
runs
really
against-
aspired there. Wow.
Well, that's in the middle of the year, 7-1. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah,
the
I
back
know,
end
but
of
I
the
mean,
schedule is pretty
before the
difficult.
year started, you thought that they would be 7-1, that they might be.
I was hoping for it based on the schedule. You know, I
Yeah,
still think
okay,
the
yeah,
Eagles-
that's real confident. Yeah, y'all gonna be 6-0.
I'm a realist. You're not talking to a Cowboy
Yeah,
fan
you're
over here
confident.
that's gonna be
I mean,
like,
that's good confidence based on who you play, right? Based on who you play,
right,
exactly.
You're
But-
coming off a Super Bowl appearance.
Right.
Coming off a Super Bowl appearance. You got a Super Bowl schedule. The back end of the schedule, you got Buffalo, you got Kansas City, you got Dallas, you got San Francisco.
I
right?
thought this
So-
was the NFL segment. I didn't know it was the Eagles segment.
Yeah, but you coming off.
Where else other team is there? You know what
But-
I'm saying?
but coming off the Super
it's
Bowl-
not my fault that Atlanta
I'm
doesn't have
tired
a
of these
football
Philly
team.
fans, man. These
All right.
Philly fans.
But coming off the Super Bowl, you usually don't have that great a year. And people try to put
Right.
Philly down right now. They're 5-0, but who they play? They played everybody that they beat. That's who they played. And I really do believe y'all going to win this
Sir,
week.
did you say
I'm
they
willing
played
to
everybody
bet.
they
I'm
beat?
willing to bet almost all of what I have to bet. Not all of my money, but what I have to bet on the Eagles winning this week.
That
And
was
maybe
the-
probably
That-
covering.
That might have been
And-
the greatest
and covering.
Stephen A. Smith type line I've ever heard. He said they played everybody they beat.
Yes, he
Good
did.
job. Good
You
job.
gotta play your schedule.
Okay,
Now
let us
again, they
finish.
played Tampa Bay, won their division last year. Minnesota won their division last year. So they played some playoff teams, right? Even though they weren't, Minnesota isn't really doing, what people expected them to do this year, losing Dalvin Cook and stuff like that. At the end of the day, the Eagles are in a good position right now. We'll see what this week brings. Again, it's 1 week at a time in the NFL. You got to be able to, show up every week. They do have the Jets. They play 4:00 on Sunday. So we'll see. And then after that, you got Miami, and then you got the Commanders, right? So you got this stretch of games before the bye week where, they're winnable games. I like the fact that we have Miami at home, but it's 1 week at a time. We'll be on the road to play the Commanders. And I don't, as we segue over to Steven and the Commanders, I don't know what to say about that squad, man. I mean, I had Sam Howell starting on my fantasy team for Thursday night. He actually put up good numbers, but
he's real good. 400 yards.
Yeah, he did good, but a lot of that was, trying to come back and get back in it kind of thing. But the Bears hadn't won in 14 games.
Right? I know.
So you're talking about, it's a 14-game losing streak, and all of a sudden they go to FedEx Field and they find I don't know what they found, but how did they go up against a very formidable defense in the Commanders and just like hand it to them? Part of it is Chase.
Yeah.
Chase, though. I think Chase he's playing undisciplined football. I mean, he's going
the Commanders. The Commanders don't have a secondary, and that's what they tried to solidify over the offseason. They don't have a secondary. They can't stop anybody. So that's what happened there. You got 3 touchdowns. That's the problem. Plus, we have a offense that's not going to score as much as that because we don't have an offensive line at all. And I think Sam Howell is tough, and he's good, and he does it. As for somebody who's basically a rookie, he's really good. He can hold up with anybody. He's better than a lot of the guys that are coming this year. But he's going to get killed. I think they got to take the veteran, put him in there, see what he can do right now. Because if Chicago can do that to him, what is Philly going to do to him? I don't want to see it.
What did Philly do to him? We went to overtime. We almost lost to the Commanders, right?
Yeah, actually.
Well, yeah, that is true. But I'll worry about this kid.
Ryan would have went for 2 instead of going to overtime. Like if you're on the road against a better team, you take the shot. You go for 2.
Exactly right. You're exactly right.
Well,
and the coaching is pathetic.
It should have never came down to that. It should have never came down to that. The Eagles had the ball.
But our coaching's bad.
Deep in Commanders territory. They got the touchdown versus running the clock and kicking the field goal, right? So they and then they had this weird unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And they got this weird kickoff where, I think me personally, I think Vegas made the call, just like in the Minnesota game, they made the call. It became a push or whatever. No, I think it was the Eagles by 7. So if people bet on the Commanders and the points, you would have won big, right? They drove the field overtime. So,
but you tell me this: how can they play against the Eagles so well and do nothing against Chicago and just get humiliated?
The money was on Chicago. The money was on Chicago. Everybody.
Well, hold on.
Everybody knew.
Hold on.
Nobody was picking Chicago in that game.
Aguna, hold on.
Nobody was picking Chicago in that game.
The Chicago coach had Justin Fields in a structured offense to be a pocket QB. They opened up the offense, let him do his running stuff. They got a lot of quick game in, and all of a sudden Justin Fields is good again. So it's just like, that was just a bad idea.
I think
about
he did it against, like when I say Chase is playing.
Because he was good again the next
there. He's not letting them break contain. He's trying to go for the sack versus containing inside. And you saw that as he over pursued. Fields would just take that every day. So,
Todd, what's a break contain?
Yeah.
A break contain.
Oh, no.
Why are you guys testing Todd like this? Is this
his earpiece broke containment from his ear?
A break contain.
Why are you guys testing Todd like this?
I don't know. They're just in love with me.
Funny.
A break contain. Can I answer the question?
No.
A break contain is.
Steven.
Oh no!
What about the Commanders? And then we
the Commanders. The Commanders play Atlanta. They play Atlanta, and I guess Nas might be a Falcon fan. I don't know, but we concede You're gonna run all. You're gonna run. I don't know. Maybe we'll beat. Maybe we'll win this game. I don't know.
Robinson,
I'm
I
really
don't know.
worried about Sam.
Robinson. What's his name? Riddle. What's the Atlanta quarterback name? Riddle Kittle. What's his name?
Ritter.
Kibble and
Okay,
Bits.
yeah.
His name is Kibble and Bits.
Yeah, but the only
He's actually
problem
playing
is,
pretty decent ball, though.
well, that's the problem. I needed him to play terribly last week so we could get the other guy, your guy, in there to be the starter, old Heineken. But now, he's playing well, he's going to get to start again. So he's going to continue to ruin our season. Well, he's not good. He's not good.
You want Heineke. You could win with Heineke.
Exactly. So hopefully we lose this game so we can get Heineke in there.
All right, I hope we beat you. I hope we beat the pants off you.
It's Atlanta by 2.5. They got Atlanta by 2.5.
We're not good. We're not good with him in there.
I don't understand.
Heineken,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call
understand.
it. But as far as Washington, though, man, you got to watch out, Stephen. That kid's got to play this year because if he sits or if he doesn't play well, they're gonna draft somebody. So he kind of he's got to win that job this year.
I know, but Nas, he could get killed. We don't have an offensive line that's protecting him. He's on pace to get hit 775,000 times and take that many sacks as well. He's
die every day, B.
No, that's what you want him to just stand in there and die.
QBs die every day, B.
All right, bro. I got you.
All right, thank you.
We got a good backup. We have a good backup. You have a good backup in Atlanta. I want my backup there because this boy's going to get killed. At least the backup has enough sense to throw the ball sooner and to get out of the way quicker and not try to be the hero all the time.
Aguna, who's our backup?
I don't know, Stephen, man. You got to deal with the cards that you're dealt a little bit. Right?
But we have a good backup. That's a veteran.
But if the offensive line isn't doing what it's supposed to do, he's not going to help. I mean, you're going to break that veteran.
If he don't win this
better
job,
to break the veteran than our future
and replace him, man. No,
we don't want our future to get broke. Maybe we should just tank the season right now. Once we lost to Chicago, I've lost all hope. We almost beat the Eagles. Should have beat the Eagles. But, it's a division game. You never know with division, though. You never know division.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to. All right, let's move on to politics today. U.S. Speaker of the House.
Before you move to politics, I know you all don't know a lot about sports, so I'll just fill you in on one person who was a gymnast. Her name is Mary Lou Retton.
Sir?
Retton, R-E-T-T-O-N, not retina like your eye.
That's what I was going to say. I was a baby.
Watching her.
I was a baby and I used to say Mary Lou Retton.
I was a fan of hers. I remember her.
And so anyway, she's in the hospital. She's been in the hospital for a week and they think she has pneumonia and she has no health insurance.
What?
So her daughter is coming up, asking people for donations. I think she's going to come up with a GoFundMe page.
She already has a GoFundMe page. They've raised over $100,000. Their initial amount that they wanted was $50,000, but they've raised over $100,000.
That's good.
This just goes to tell you that America is lacking whenever you can have an Olympic athlete without health insurance. Every American should be afforded health insurance, whether they're rich, poor, or in between.
Yes, sir.
It should be a right, not a privilege. And so this is what the Republicans...
I thought Obamacare took care of that.
I thought
Obamacare took care of that.
No,
and she could have Obamacare, and
she's talking over me. That is typical Republican. Okay, I'm done.
No, Obamacare didn't take care of that because they don't have an individual mandate, and it's still a privatized system. It's not a universal system. So even though you have access to healthcare, as they like to say, sometimes that access means your premium is $30,000 a month. So yes, you can have healthcare. Just pay the premium, sir. We'll see you on the 1st and 15th.
All right.
Well, the fact that they have the GoFundMe and they are very successful with that in many cases goes to show you that
they're not actually very successful. They're not actually successful in many cases. More than likely, she got it because as a famous person, we all know her name.
Right.
We grew up in
dumb?
it. But the average person, their GoFundMe doesn't get fulfilled. So no.
Absolutely
that's
not.
not true. That's not
well,
true.
No, that is
you
true.
Don't know. No.
Statistically, that is true. Like, I
You see
understand
that?
you want to argue because you're crazy, but yeah,
No,
statistically,
you want to
that's true.
argue because you think that you're always right, but you're wrong.
No, I'm just writing this.
Because you don't know all the cases that are. You're not knowledgeable about all the cases that have GoFundMe pages.
Okay, well,
let's
then
go
why
to the
don't
next
you do
subject.
this,
Thank
Keith?
you.
Why don't you get off of your wife's health insurance, and then you can ask people to go fund you and see how many people you get to fund your house.
I have my own. I pay for my own health insurance. Thank you. I have.
You mean
Don't you get like don't you get Medicare?
Todd, mind your
said-
beeswax.
You mean your state
Mind your
You said-
beeswax, Todd. Mind your
said you were-
I'm
beeswax.
only on Medicare because the government
Yeah.
forces you to go
No,
on
that's
Right, that's
not
what I'm saying. You have to
forcing
go
you. That's
Medicare.
giving you an option that you wouldn't have in the private market.
I am forced to go on Medicare because I'm over 65. Thank you, sir.
No, you have that option because the government
No, I
is
don't.
providing
I don't
it.
have the option. You're
What
telling
do you
me,
mean?
and I already have dealt with it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's move to the
you
next.
should thank the government for your access
Let's
to
move
healthcare,
on.
sir. What are you talking
No,
about?
I don't thank the government because I can't get the same one that I had when I was just on Kaiser. But
Why?
let's move on.
No, why?
Let's
because
move
it's
forward.
really exactly. There's the point.
I'm in California. California.
You could be in Kalamazoo. It'd be the same situation.
California.
All right,
At
thank
any
you.
rate, thank you.
U.S. House of Representatives. Today, the Republicans had a showdown between what's his name? Steve Scalise from Louisiana, representative, and what's the other representative's name?
Jim Jordan.
That's my man, the
Jim
wrestler.
Jordan.
Jim Jordan, the wrestler.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Jim Jordan. Wait a minute. Now,
celebrating the
let me
wrestling?
introduce this.
Yes.
Let me introduce and then you can go. Jim Jordan was backed by former President Donald Trump during this Republican vote where only Republican House members voted who would be the next person to run for the House of Representatives. They voted Scalise above Jim Jordan. Now Scalise has to be put before the floor between and voted on between Democrats and Republicans. Now you can go Nas and then Keith.
No, I was just kind of shocked that he would kind of emphasize the Jim Jordan part. Famously, in Ohio, when he worked as an assistant coach for a wrestling team, there was a really sad case of people minors being abused sexually. And they went to him to try to get help. And he actually did not help those young men. And a lot of them are still upset about it. They're actually suing him right now about that case. So like the fact that you said Jim Jordan just kind of stood out. That was all.
Yes.
You're kidding
Jim Jordan.
me. What do you mean,
really
yes?
amazing. I wonder if Matt Gaetz supports Jim
Matt
Jordan.
Gaetz and Jim. Oh my gosh.
No, I
Birds of
just
a feather.
no, I'm asking. Do you guys know? Do any of you know whether Matt Gaetz is supporting him? It's very important that I know.
Why is that?
Why don't you Google it?
Well, I guess I will. Yeah, I'll have to do it later. But yeah, the reason I'm asking is because Matt Gaetz was so. You see, they always want the lesser of the. They want
evils?
the less conservative. No, they always want the less conservative one. And Jim Jordan is a true constitutional conservative. That's why I support him. He defends the Constitution.
Nas just said children were molested.
No, I respect Scalise.
No, he did not.
I'll settle for him.
He didn't molest anybody, man.
No, he didn't do it.
He overlooked it. He covered it up.
Who knew? Yeah.
Well,
no, he did like this.
Yeah.
I mean, Aguna, what do you say, Aguna? I mean,
so what do you say about that, Stephen?
No, I want to hear Aguna.
I don't know that much about it to comment on it. I haven't heard much about that, Todd. You're bringing a new revelation to my eyeballs.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Oops, sorry.
What?
I hit the wrong button.
She
sorry.
didn't want to hear another word you said.
No, that's not true.
Just tired of looking at you.
Okay. So whatever is going on in the background, right? At the end of the day, whichever of these two men is going to be Speaker of the House is going to have to work with Democrats, which is going to kill their speakership. That's what McCarthy. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
John Boehner part 2.
You know, so it's like, what do you want from these? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins, because at the end of the day, you have a small contingent based on the House rules. They can vote to remove him. That's what happened to McCarthy. His hands are going to be tied. This is the weakest speakership in the history of the country. So who really wants this job? And in fact, if you get it and you're Jim Jordan, your brand is made on sticking it to the libs, right? So as soon as you have to come up with legislation that requires some Democrats to weigh in on, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a waste of time. So until the Republicans come up with a platform,
but wait a minute, and that legislation coming up would be making sure the government remains open. That's very important. And the legislation would be
government open, the border,
the
Ukraine, all this stuff. You know, and the House Republicans are not willing to work with the Democrats on any of these things, right? So it's like, I mean, because any working with the Democrats is going to be seen as being a rhino, because based on what it means to be a Republican now, you're not being gauged on what you do in the legislation or the platform you pass. You're getting judged based on what you don't do and how dysfunctional you are. That's what they're raising money on for the next election
war
cycle.
hysteria.
Working with the left means you have to capitulate to everything they want. That's what the left wants. That's what they call working with them. That's what they want.
That's not how government
And we need somebody who's not going to capitulate. Somebody who's going to be strong. And either one of these two guys we get is going to be better than what we had. Either one of these two guys is better than what we had there.
Would you rather get 60% of what you want or zero? Would you rather get 60% of what you want or zero?
If we continue the way we're going, we're going to continue to get zero. That's all we get is zero. That's all we get is zero.
Excuse me. Let me ask Todd.
There you go.
Let me ask Todd. Is there a problem, you think, with Scalise's nomination, considering he's battling cancer right now?
No.
Or he's a white supremacist?
How is he a white supremacist? Oh, you mean this guy that was going to get killed by a leftist like you tried to kill him? Somebody who agrees with you tried to kill him.
That's how.
Yeah,
that's right. Supremacists go to white supremacist rallies and speak.
Yeah, he couldn't even play baseball without getting shot.
Yeah, he got shot.
Oh yeah, woe is him. So we should get him.
What was the man who got? What was this? The innocent man who got shot?
Yeah, that's the reason why we should. That's the reason why he should be third in line for the president, because he got shot. Not because
because if he can be a good, decent, honest person, that will try to work with both sides. Then let's see what happens.
No, you won't. What's his platform?
Why not? Why not? Why do you say that?
The first thing he's going to do is he's going to try to impeach Joe Biden. He's going to go.
Joe Biden needs to be impeached.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden needs to be impeached.
We got a war in Israel going on. We got the Ukraine. We got all those things.
Yeah, because we have a war in Israel, because we have a war in Ukraine is why he needs to be impeached. Because if he wasn't president, we wouldn't have these wars.
That's a lie.
He supports Iran. He supports Hamas. He gives money to Hamas. He gives money to Hamas. Donald Trump stopped the money to Hamas, but Joe Biden opened it back up.
Joe Biden
Excuse me.
Joe Biden needs to be impeached. Period.
Let's give Stacey respect.
Excuse me.
He gives money to Hamas.
You guys know.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
let's submit to Stacey, please. Stacey.
Thank you.
Who knew Joe Biden would give money to Hamas?
He does. I guess you know. I guess I educated you. He gives money to Hamas.
Let's go to.
I know. Y'all laugh. It's like telling little kids that Santa Claus isn't real. You're stupid. You're stupid, old man. You don't know what you're talking about.
The more you talk, the dumber we get. The more you talk,
I'm educating you. I'm telling you facts. Can't argue the facts. Look, Cousin Todd disappeared. Just to go look it up.
Hey guys,
Donald,
the executive branch can't get it.
Gentlemen,
this branch has to talk.
Gentlemen, Stacey is talking.
I mean, we got to stop this nonsense, Stacey.
Goodness, as we have to stop this nonsense after he tries to egg Stephen on nonstop. And
I was not. He said Joe Biden gives money to Hamas, and he says that. I mean,
he lies all the time.
Executive branch,
used to it. Let Cousin Todd get. Let's get to Cousin Todd, man. Let's get through this segment.
I wasn't even going to Cousin
Our
Todd yet.
country gives money to Hamas. Donald Trump cut that off. But now we
be
give money
quiet,
to
man.
this country gives money to Hamas. And who's the president? Who's the president?
Be an adult.
It's Joe Biden.
Come on.
We gave money. Look at all the money. Look at all the money we allocated towards Iran. Look at all the money we allocated towards them and let them have all this money. What does Iran do? They sponsor Hamas and Hezbollah and every other group that wants to kill people. That's Joe Biden is responsible for all of this. He's responsible for everything.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Stacey,
he can't stop talking.
Stacey's talking.
Okay.
Stacey's talking.
Not true.
Thank you. One of the House of Representative members today was charged with another count. And who is it I'm talking about? I sent you guys an update for what we would cover. Who was that? The guy from New York? I forgot his name. He used to be a cross-dresser.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's right on the tip of
Allegedly,
RuPaul? Is it RuPaul?
No, it's not
No.
RuPaul.
No, RuPaul
What's
was
his
on.
name?
Crap. Oh, it starts with an M.
I think. Okay, I'm back.
Todd should know.
I think
Todd
it's
should know.
Steve Khalees.
No,
It's not
no,
Khalees.
Todd.
Oh, Donald Trump.
Todd.
Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani. That's it. Now you got
Rudy
it.
Rudy Giuliani.
No. Who is it, Todd?
I don't know.
I'd love to talk about.
I can't look anything up right now.
Man,
Santos.
just
George
an
Santos.
FYI, the Phillies need to save some of these runs. They're up 10-2, and it's the top.
Oh!
It's the bottom of the eighth. They're up
Santos.
So
10.
George Santos.
He's
We need to
Republican,
save
right?
these runs.
The GOP representatives will move to expel him after the new charges were filed. Let me pull that up on the screen.
What
That was
charges?
written today. Oh, I forgot, Todd. You're not a news person.
No, I'm
That was
making
written
fun.
today.
I'm making fun of Republicans. There's
Todd
more
knows.
charges.
Oh,
Todd knows.
okay.
Yes, I know.
God knows and Todd knows.
So, New York House Republicans will introduce a measure to expel Rep. George Santos, Republican from New York, from the legislative body. Representative Anthony Despacito, Republican of New York, announced today. He says, today I'll be introducing an expulsion resolution to rid People's House of fraudster George Santos, he wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter. He said the resolution will be co-sponsored by fellow first-term GOP representatives Nick LaLota, Mike Lawyer, Mark Molinaro, Nick Langworthy, and Brandon Williams, all from New York. This announcement comes one day after prosecutors in New York filed a superseding indictment against Santos, charging him with 10 new criminal charges. He now faces 23 charges in total. The new indictment, Cousin Todd, and you can comment once I'm finished this, accuses Santos of stealing campaign contributors' identities and financial information, and of charging their credit cards numerous times without their authorization. This indictment also alleges Santos falsely reported to the Federal Election Commission that his family made significant campaign contributions they did not make.
Who does this sound like? Doesn't this sound like Donald Trump? For example, using campaign funds to pay your boy toy or prostitute or porn star, I mean.
Did he really? No, he never did. No, he never did that.
Oh,
he never used campaign funds.
Really?
I mean, are you talking about Donald Trump or are you talking about free toast? Are you talking about free toast or are you talking about Donald Trump?
How did Donald Trump pay the porn star?
It had nothing to do with campaign funds.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to move on now. Shh. So
just keep it on.
Reminds me of Donald Trump. And so when they start getting away with this, using campaign funds to do other things with, and pretending like they have a charity like Donald Trump did, but was taking money from the charity. All of these things. I guess when
No, that
Donald
was the
Trump
Hillary
became-
Clinton. That was the Clintons,
I
not the
guess-
Trumps. That was
I
Clinton's.
guess when Donald Trump became president, I guess people said, look, if he can get away with it, I'm going to try it too. So you can't hardly blame him. And so now you have these crazy radical Republicans thinking they can do anything. And they do. Unfortunately, though, they can't get away with it.
So if you look at the article there, Keith, you see thehill.com says that New York's first-term GOP reps will move to expel Santos after new charges. Your comments?
Well, my comment is simple. Todd is right. They never get away. Republicans don't get away with it. That's the point. But Democrats, can you say the same thing? Nope. Democrats, you'll never see go down the way a Republican does, or GOP. That's why we're seeing all this.
Go down. What does that mean? What do you mean?
Well, what I mean is the Democrats are all united to go corrupt, and there is nobody who steps down as a Democrat. Name me one person who stepped down.
Okay, I'll name you one.
Al Franken.
Al Franken, exactly who I was going to name.
Okay.
And he should not have stepped down.
Okay,
but he
so
did.
you're saying you don't believe he should have stepped down.
No,
so
he should not have.
What did Al Franken step down from? The pulpit? What did Al Franken step down from?
Don't hurt your head, man. You're thinking too hard.
When did he step down?
Can I get a chance to speak on
go
this,
ahead.
if you don't mind?
Well,
so
go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the difficulty of people who vote only on party lines. So the Santos guy comes out of nowhere,
Democrats.
really has, this would be Republican voters who voted Santos in. Really has no reputation, really has no career really to build on. He was an infamous scammer, and we find out about his activities outside once he gets in, after he had fooled everyone. And of course, there were real conservatives who wanted him out immediately, but they had to let the process play out, and now we see all these other charges. So there's no reason to leave him around. But ultimately, the main point here is when you walk into that ballot booth and you have no idea who a person is, but you're voting just because R or D is next to their name, you're taking a big risk. And Republicans, they rolled snake eyes on this one. And to the previous point, when we were talking about the situation with Biden. So the money was frozen from Iran. It was Iran's money. It was frozen, and it was from South Korea. And that money is still in a South Korean bank, has not been allocated, has not been given to Iran or anybody else. This started off as a meme in conservative right-wing territory online. And typically people who get their information that way, they come in uninformed, angry, ignorant as usual. I understand you're getting emotional. I didn't call any names. Hit dogs.
Nobody's getting emotional.
I didn't call any names. Oh, so why are you talking? It's not your turn. So after we find out about this, and everybody kind of corrects the record, like you can go to X, Elon even showed where we have this thing called community reports where people can kind of add to a story and fix it. A lot of people on the right kind of had to retract and say, oh, sorry about that. We thought Biden actually gave them the money. That didn't actually happen. So you can go check this in real time and see that not only are you incorrect, but you typically fall for these type of hoaxes because you have no ability to discern what's right from what's wrong.
Which is a lot.
Sir, it's not your turn. I understand you're emotional.
You're still lying.
Sir, I understand you're emotional. It's not your turn.
I'm not emotional.
Okay, Captain D, it's not your turn.
Hey, Captain, he gave money. We gave money directly to Hamas.
Shut up.
Can you dispute that? We gave money directly to Hamas. That's what the Joe Biden administration does. Donald Trump cut that off.
It's not your turn. So
talk about it then. Just be honest. Have a dialogue.
Sir,
you scared to debate?
No,
you scared to talk to somebody? Are you afraid? You want to jump in my back pocket?
Look, this is how he gets wound up. You're afraid?
No, he can't talk. He can't talk to somebody.
I'm not exchanging with you.
Reverend Al Sharpton. Go ahead, Sharpton.
You'll have your time.
Keep spitting. Ain't nobody got no time. You don't want to talk to somebody, then go into a closet by yourself.
We're going to stop.
Can I finish?
Okay.
Go into a closet.
Let me finish.
Nah,
we shouldn't be able to disrupt the show.
I got to move on.
We shouldn't be able to disrupt the show because he doesn't use suntan.
Go back in your closet. You don't want to talk to somebody. We can all talk to each other. You don't want to talk.
Lobster head continues to talk.
He ain't got no point. The point's on top of his head. If he wears a hat, nobody else see it.
That wasn't funny when you thought about it. Go ahead, Daz.
That was funny.
Yeah. So again, when we correct information on this show in real time, it's only because somebody has laid out something erroneous. Now,
show me this.
Sir, why are you?
Where do I go? Hey, Nas, where do I go for this information you just gave us? Or should we just take your word? Did you help write the Bible, Nas?
I just told you.
Did you help write the Bible? Okay, tell me where it is. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write it down.
Go to Twitter. Go to Elon Musk. And as a keyword,
and Elon Musk said something. Elon Musk said something.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's Jesus Christ. His word is his word. Okay.
No.
Musk said something. All right, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna Google Musk.
Listen to this. He asked for information, and then I give him information, and he's still angry.
He doesn't want it because he.
What is it? Oh, Elon. Hey, what did Jimmy Fallon say?
You're not a serious person. You're not a serious person.
Okay,
that's just what it is.
You're making a fool out of yourself, Stephen. You're making a fool out of yourself.
Okay,
no, give me your.
So anybody who actually wants to read this story, I just gave you where you can look. The community notes on Twitter have been updated. You can also go to CNN. You can go to The Guardian. You can go to the New York Times and the New York Post. All have retracted and corrected the story.
And what is the correction?
The correction is that the money is in South Korea. It was never allocated to Iran. That was a right-wing smear and rumor that ran rampant, and people who can't read didn't know better. They kept repeating the story, like this dumb young man right here. So that's it.
Okay, wait, Nas, stop. So that is what you're talking about is actually they're saying the monies that the United States paid to Iran, unfroze. I'm sorry, not paid.
That's correct.
The money that the United States unfroze, that was Iran's, in order to allow American citizens to be freed from Iran. They are saying that money was used to help Hamas attack Israel last Saturday. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying the exact opposite of that. The money is not only.
Right. No. I'm saying this is what they're saying. Yeah. This is what was said. No,
that's what I'm correcting.
How did we get the hostages if we didn't give them their money? How did we get the hostages if we didn't give them their money?
Yeah, so that's what I'm correcting.
Explain that, Nas. Nas, how do we have the hostages if we didn't make our part deal?
Look at
this. South Korea got it.
Look at this.
Why? How does that make sense?
Well,
because the money was in a South Korean bank to begin with. That's who was actually used financing the transaction. That's where the money goes. Now, as far as the frozen part of it,
it's a process. You're saying it's a process where the money's went.
Exactly.
So they're going to get that money, right?
They unfroze it. Wait. They unfroze
Eventually,
it.
Yes.
And it went to a South Korean bank. Is that what you're saying, Nas?
Yes. Eventually, they will get it. Eventually, they will get it.
Still in a South Korean bank.
Correct. So it was not used to finance terrorism. Right. So it was not used to finance terrorism.
They did not use that money to give it to Hamas to attack Israel. You're saying that is according to CNN.com. Go ahead, Stephen. What's your comment?
What I'm saying is Donald Trump cut off monies to the Palestine area, the Hamas. He cut all that off. When Biden got back in office, he turned the money flow back onto them. And I don't know what Nas is talking about. I haven't heard anything about it. If it turns out to be it's wrong, then I'll come back here next week and say, I was wrong about that because that's all I've heard this week. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I know that this part is true, and I haven't heard anybody dispute it.
You just confused the two stories.
Donald Trump cut them off. We are financing terrorist groups. That's what we're doing. That's what Biden wants to do for some reason, and that's what he's doing when he gives money to Iran or he lets them have their money. There's no reason they should have that money. Plus, we should be cutting Iran off more because Iran is funding Hamas. So how is it to you? How do you justify to yourself that, wait a minute, shut your mouth, it ain't your turn. Shut your mouth, it ain't your turn. How do we justify giving money to Iran and we know where that money's going to go? We know where that money's going to go. Why do we give money to terrorist groups?
Okay,
so 8:30. It's time for the Stephen Melton.
Donald Trump wouldn't have done this. Donald Trump would not have done this.
So Stacey, here's another problem. He's confusing two stories. So the story he's talking about Trump taking a hard stance against Iran, that was about Iran's nuclear program, where they had that treaty in place, and Trump said, "To hell with that. I'm not signing up for that treaty. I'm not signing up." Sir,
I'm not talking about Iran. I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm not talking about. That's where you're
Hamas has nothing to do with Iran.
I'm talking about Hamas. I'm talking about Donald Trump cutting them off and Biden opening the spigot.
That didn't happen.
Are you
yes, it did.
You're confusing the two stories. You're confusing the two stories.
I am not.
The story about
Are you
Iran
talking about
was
humanitarian aid?
Hold on, Aguna. The story about Iran was about Iran continuing their nuclear program, where Trump said it's a bad deal. I don't want to sign up for it. He pulled out of it. And then, of course, clandestinely, Iran continued their nuclear program. And that's where you had the tension between the U.S. and Iran heating up again. That's a separate story from the other one, Stephen. You're mixing the two.
I am not mixing anything up.
Iran bombed us.
I guess you proved that.
They bombed U.S. troops.
Okay, all right, we're out of time, but I do want to cover a few things about Israel-Hamas war. We are very, our thoughts and our hearts go out to everyone who lost family members on both sides. It's horrible that people lost family members on both sides. I do want everyone to have an opportunity to discuss the importance of this. How you
doing? You ready for the
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want everyone to have an opportunity to discuss their perspective on this and the fact that it's important that the United States sent over jet fighters and that big USS excuse me to avoid or to let people know Hezbollah, Syria. Oh, you guys can't jump in here and try to get in this. This is between these two people and let them work it out. So let's start with Keith and Stephen.
I'm going
no,
to,
not choose.
I'm going to need a vacation.
Talking.
I'm going to need a vacation.
2 weeks paid for Todd.
This because you allow Stephen with his crazy self to just run wild. And it is embarrassing
to make his comment.
And my friends watching this show, they threatened to stop watching this show.
I don't believe you have any friends, Todd. Todd, I don't believe you have any friends.
This degrades.
Well,
you're
the only antisocial person here who can't get along with anybody. Well, civil conversation.
I thought we're all friends, Stephen. You get so angry. What's wrong?
All right, so let me bring Keith in.
Go ahead, Keith. You look angry.
I'm going to give
angry white man.
Well, his face is that red naturally.
I'm going to give a.
I just got back from South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to give a perspective.
That Tiger King down there.
Probably not welcome on the show.
It was beautiful.
At least
Love that.
Most people. I know Stephen probably welcomes it, but most of the people won't welcome what I'm going to say. But that's this is my opinion and my belief. My belief is from a biblical standpoint. Whenever we deal with Israel, it's always from a biblical standpoint because Israel are the people of God.
Israel are the chosen people.
And they are the chosen people.
Right.
And
they are the chosen ones.
I'm reading from Isaiah.
And who chose them? God chose 50. Them or you?
Todd,
I'm reading.
Todd, stop talking, Todd. This is his round table. This is our round table. He's done. Stop talking. Go ahead, Keith.
Well, you never said that to Stephen. You never told Stephen to stop talking. Stop talking. You always save that for me. Well,
okay.
All right. I will stop talking.
Todd,
all right.
Special.
Okay. So from chapter 50, I like this because this is my answer, my round table. I would say those who snatch the prey from the hands of the mighty man, God is saying, he said through Isaiah chapter 50,
what?
You know, these people have taken hostage women and children. Hamas have appeared to be soldiers of Israel, and they have entered into their homes and taken them away so that they can use them as human shields. Now, that's a very interesting strategy of terrorists. This is a terrorist network. So it says the Lord has to say to them, he says, who can demand that a tyrant let his captives go? But the Lord says, even the captives of the most mighty and most terrible shall all be freed. For I will fight those who fight you, and I will save your children. I will feed your enemies with their own flesh, and they shall be drunk with rivers of their own blood. All the world shall see and know that I am the Lord, your Savior, your Redeemer, the mighty one of Israel. So God
this is why I never signed up for a theocratic state.
And I know that Israel is going to be all right. but because
Okay,
God
thank
is
you.
going to intervene when that time
Thank you,
comes.
Stephen.
I want to know who here on the show is anti-Israel at this point. I think I know who. I think I know which ones. I think there are some people here that are anti-Israel. So you're pro-Hamas. You're pro people that did these atrocities. I'm anti-Hamas. I'm anti the whole area. You know what you do, Israel? Take them out. Take them out and show everybody else that's evil, that wants to destroy and has commit genocide, because these people are Hamas. Think of Hamas as Nazis. They are Nazis that you're supporting. That's exactly what they are. They want all the Jews eradicated. They will admit they are Nazis. They want them all to die. And they hide under this cloud of Palestine, which doesn't exist. It's never exists. It's something fake. So, and you know what? Nobody wants these people anywhere. So you know what? These people either need to find a way to go, find somebody who would take them, or they need to be gone. All of them need to be gone. Every one of them. And then everybody else who is here. Because you know what? There's one group, Israel, who for all these decades has been trying to live and let live. But there's people on the strict Islamists want them eradicated. So you know what? After all of this, and they're cutting off babies' heads, kill every one of these SOBs. See, Stacey, I cleaned it up for you. Kill them all. Kill every one of them. Don't stop bombing until all the cockroaches are dead. That's when you stop bombing. Kill them all. And Hezbollah will disappear. ISIS will disappear. Everybody else will disappear. Kill them all.
Why do you put that accent in all of a sudden? Disappear? Why are you
let
Allah
sort them out?
All of a sudden?
Yeah, so you can replace.
Wait, no, Nas.
You see the
Nas,
rage.
then Aguna, then Todd. Nas, go ahead. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt him, Stephen. Nobody interrupted you. So
I'll put my mute on. My mic's off. My mic's off.
Thank you, respectfully. Yeah, I'll be quick so Aguna and Todd can get in. So ultimately, it's kind of sad to hear people who call themselves Christians talk about eradication and using cockroaches as a simile for other people, which kind of lets you know where they are. But ultimately, this is the problem with propaganda. You can get people to believe things like this, and this is typical Nazi behavior. So again, when we're talking about Israel, and I want to ask these other gentlemen after the show, if they actually know what the Balfour Declaration was, if they actually know what the Nakba was, if they actually know what the actual borders are, if they actually know where the West Bank is and where Gaza is, because if you don't know those things, you probably shouldn't enter this discussion. So yeah, this was a tragedy, a sad thing. And again, we all know this, no government can provide 100% security. But the other side of it is when you won't deal with moderates, you empower extremists, because then people are more likely to listen to extremists, and that puts you in a situation where we have what we have. Now, ultimately, Israel does have these people living in an open air prison. They punish them with the wall. They punish them with seeing their papers to go anywhere. There's a daily humiliation ritual they have to live their lives, and that's going to lead to what we saw the other day. But to present this story one-sided and say, oh, these people attack these people, and not look at the past 3 years where we've seen over, 6,000 Palestinians who've been killed because of the bombing and everything else that goes on over there. And remember, they're locked in land, air, and sea, locked in, open air prison. So this is a terrible story. And because of how some people try to frame the conversation, it becomes this thing, are you pro or are you con? Are you pro? It becomes this world wrestling conversation that doesn't take us anywhere or inform anyone. So yeah, this is a tragic day. Over 300 people were killed again today because of the bombing in this really tight, concentrated area. And the idea of human shields as a propaganda tool has been used for a long time. There's actually nowhere for those people to move because they're in a landlocked area. So again, when you take in propaganda with no information, you become a puppet of someone else. So sadly, the two Christians failed the test of speaking on this topic. And I want to cede the time to the rest of the guys because I don't want to venture too long arguing with people who know nothing.
Thank you. Aguna.
Yeah, but I mean, I hope our audience just heard the rage in the last segment, because I mean that's typical. That's where Americans are right now. No empathy. These are human beings. You know, there are extremes on both sides, but in the middle of the day, if you're someone calling other humans cockroaches and to kill, you think there's not someone else, you think that's not going to raise another generation of resentment. And again, you know, you talk about the compromise after World War II. And what happened, there were people already living in that area. Okay, so when you talk about whose land and chosen people and all of that, there's nobody's squeaky clean, right? And so if we can't talk in rational terms that these are human beings that we're dealing with, yeah, I mean, there's some terrorist acts happening, and that's sad. But if you keep on calling yourself a Christian and saying, hey, violence, and then trying to use the Bible as a tool to eradicate humanity, I mean, that's not getting us anywhere. And it's just going to continue to fester another body of extremists. And if you look at some of the conflicts around the world where the victors are writing the history books and everyone's on the side of Israel, just because you're saying Israel, you shouldn't just wipe out a whole city of people and human beings. That doesn't mean you're pro-Hamas. You're just pro-humanity. And there needs to be some level-headed conversations around this issue and not just say bomb, 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 kill, kill, kill. And, hey, they're acting barbaric, so I'm going to act more barbaric than you in order to send this message that it's going to help the situation and not radicalize the other terrorists. Because when people are in a situation where they have nothing to lose, they're going to cross a border and they're going to cut off the heads of babies and all this other stuff. So you got to understand where this barbarism is coming from. And that's not saying it's correct, but it's saying if you want it to end, you have to have a legitimate conversation around it and not just say, oh, you know what? Violence begets violence. Therefore, let's kill each other till it's all the extreme, because what's coming next is going to be even worse than this.
Who cuts off babies' heads?
It's not your turn.
Your segment is over, man.
Who cuts off babies' heads?
Again, he can't help himself. You had your turn.
I'm asking a question.
Okay,
you would, Stephen, based on your range, you would.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
On the cockroaches.
Excuse me.
Think no
I
babies
said the cockroaches won't die in a war. Kill them.
Excuse me, I'm going to answer you guys.
Kill everything until all the
President Biden said today during a press conference that he thought he would never see the day when he would see pictures of children getting their heads cut off. That's where I think Aguna came from. Said it from Cousin Todd. You got to unmute your mic, Cousin Todd.
You're not talking sensibly. You do anything.
Okay.
No reason in that dude.
I think it was tragic what happened in Israel. But like Aguna was saying, this was a long time in the making. And for Keith and Stephen to say, kill everything that moves, even cockroaches, that's right. That's not sensible. For example, I talked about the people that stormed the Capitol. And I said, I don't think all of them were guilty. Keith had a friend out there, Mike, and Mike said she knew better than to go into the building. And if you watch, you see these terrorists use these people to get into this building.
FBI.
And so, can you shut up?
It was the FBI that led them into the building. It was a setup.
Stacey
You
cannot
had your chance.
Let
Stop
man,
it.
This is just this is pitiful. Yeah, go somewhere. Go sniff another line.
I said to Keith, I said, well, some of those people were used, and Aguna said there was willful ignorance. Well, some people. So the point I'm making is, I didn't think all of those people were guilty who went out to support Trump. Right. It was the people that broke in the building and all those kinds of things, like Keith was saying in the beginning. So now when you're talking about going over here and killing anything that moves, some of those people are innocent. Some of those people had nothing to do with that. So kill them anyway. That's just a sick way of thinking. That's a typical radical Republican way of thinking. So I just hated that it has come to this. And this thing about these people being the chosen ones, that is so silly and ridiculous. Then I said, who wrote the Bible? Where you would believe that these people are the chosen people. Why aren't you the chosen one, dum-dum? That's because you didn't write it, did you? So
Indeed.
anyway, anybody who writes anything where they're the chosen ones, that's nonsense.
Yeah, collective punishment is wrong. And anybody deciding that a deity has chosen them over everyone else, you're actually making God a bigot at that point.
Exactly.
That God chooses special people to govern on and protect, and everyone else is just kind of left to the wolves.
That's
so
right.
yeah, you can hold that up as long as you like, sir.
Yeah.
I would challenge you to read it because I think that would help you. But ultimately, man, like when we're talking about this topic, this is a really tough topic.
Read the New Testament.
There are, there's a lot of collective grief.
It's a very tough
here.
topic.
There's a lot of tragedy here. There's
Yes,
over 200 kids who were killed today because of the bombing. Now, when we hear about this, the beheading thing, which sounds like a propaganda story, the news outlet that essentially reported at the beginning had to retract it. And then we come out and we get Biden saying he actually saw evidence of it, but we haven't been able to see that yet. That's going to be interesting because if you go back to the Iraq War, remember the incubator babies? We are not above using propaganda to beat the drums for war so we can start cashing those checks again. So it's really tough to believe sensationalized stories like that. They told us the one girl was raped and killed, and now we find out she's not only still alive, but she's being held as a prisoner swap for a prisoner swap. So when you think about the aims of what this group is trying to do, what are they trying to do? Terror, for one. They want to terrorize you, as all terrorist groups do. They have to have you in a state of fear. The other side is they want to exchange hostages because they have way more hostages in Israel than they do over there. So they want to make the exchange. Okay, so how does this happen? If you're Israel, if you deal with the moderates, the PLO over there, as far as that group, if you deal with the PLO and come up with a two-state solution, we could come to a peaceful way of doing things. But if you continue this collective punishment, you're going to empower Hamas because then you're going to raise more people who will be inclined to join the terrorist cell, and violence begets more violence. But guess what happens? Then Israel gets to keep settling the land, taking over more territory. There's a video today of a gentleman who was thrown out of his house for an Israeli settler family, and the settler comes outside and he gives him the milk out of his own refrigerator and tells him, "Here, take this." Like, just imagine that. You're sitting in your house, a family comes and says, "Hey, we're taking this." And they push you out of the house, kick you in the street, and the guy gives you a gallon of your own milk as kind of a laughing gesture as they push you out into the streets.
Sounds like propaganda to me.
There's video of it. Well, you can
this is what Keith talks about. The Mexicans are coming over and taking over. They're putting people out of their own house.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're out of time. I do want to make a comment. First, we're not Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Green Party, Socialist Party. We are Americans. We have the best force, military in the whole wide world.
But I do not want us to get embroiled in any wars, period.
Well, especially ones
we
that
of
not
course
needed.
we don't want to get embroiled in any wars. However, it's kind of hard not to when we have American citizens there and you have President Biden looking at ways to get our American citizens out of harm's way that are in Israel, and who are captured.
Yeah, but we also have to state the capabilities of both sides, though, Stacey, when we say something like that. If Mike Tyson is beating up a toddler on Fifth Avenue and I run outside and I say, "Hey, Mike, hold on, let me help you punch that kid in the face," well, that's not exactly doing anything to help. Mike was going to win that fight anyway. So Israel, which has nuclear weapons and a modern army and $3 billion of funding from us per year, fighting against a ragtag group with 1980s Soviet-style rockets, like, let's be real about the scale of power here. So the bombing that's lasted the past 48 hours has not stopped, and there is no response because they don't have any jets. They don't have any modern weaponry. They're just hiding in the rubble trying to make some type of, response afterwards. But yeah, this is going to get really bad. They cut off electricity, water, and gas, and collective punishment has never been an answer for any civilized people.
Nope.
All right. Thank you.
Civilized.
We're out of time.
I would say the people doing the bombing are uncivilized.
And there are
No,
children there
they're-
too. What about
yeah,
those children?
they finally are
What about
protecting
their
themselves. They're
That's what
standing.
I'm
You know what they
saying.
do? They're
Finally.
standing there. Israel
Finally.
decided to stand their ground.
Yeah,
And
you
you know
should
what?
sit this topic out. You know
To
nothing
our
about
first,
this topic.
to our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to our women and men of the U.S. military and all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on the show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the Nigerian
Prayers.
moderate Republican,
Pray for him.
Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker,
Or the psychopath.
Nas or Horatio. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Horatio
And-
Hernandez.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
my cousin Todd.
Go ahead and do a little tap dance, Todd.
Please check us out on what? TikTok,
Jealousy will get
Instagram.
you no place.
Twitch, X, Stephanie Stallworth, The Flow Television Network. We'll see you next week. Be here or be square. Good night.
Can't do a thing if you ain't got
Good
that
job,
smoke.
good job, Stephanie. And this is
Well,
after playing
yeah,
hurt,
yeah.
after being sick all week. She showed up to work ready to fight. Salute to Stephanie. And I just want to say,
Stephanie,
man,
who is Stephanie?
I said
Stephanie
Stacy.
Stallworth. Oh,
You said Stephanie.
I said Stephanie, then Stacy. I was trying to get both of y'all in there. Excuse me.
All right,
Or
yeah.
I
Well,
made a
wait.
mistake
Let
and
me.
I'm trying to cover for it. Man, here you go with that.
Either
You're
one.
going somewhere. Go. I'm trying to give you your props.
Right.
And here you go with that.
true.
Yeah, I just want to show you the final score between the
ma'am,
Philadelphia Phillies and.
No, I'm
Yeah.
gonna act
One
like certain
more.
people on this
You
show.
need one
That's
more.
propaganda. That ain't the real score.
That ain't the real
score.
That's alternative facts.
But can
So
I
now,
ask the gentleman on the show
The
one
series
question?
is 2-1. Wait, series leads. Philadelphia leads the series
Yeah,
2-1. I
yeah,
just wanted to
yeah.
get that out.
So
Go
other
ahead.
gentlemen on the show, what is the Balfour Declaration?
The Balfour Declaration?
Yes,
The
sir.
I'm not familiar with it. Tell me, sir.
Oh, you're not familiar. Okay, Stephen.
What about your boyfriend?
Tell me
you're
about
on mute.
You're
Get him
on
off
mute
of mute,
For the first
Stacey.
time ever, you're muted all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Educate me,
Oh,
sir.
she muted me. It has to do with the Middle East. It probably has to do with Israel. It's over in that part of town.
Very
So
good.
that's your answer?
I'm
I
actually
don't know why
impressed.
Todd is laughing. Todd doesn't even know what a secondary is on an NFL team.
Hold
So I
on,
don't know why
hold
he's
on, hold on.
laughing.
Okay, and
So
the
here it is.
Oz-
I've got it online. I got it right here. I'm sharing it with you now. The
Stacey's giving
Balfour
people homework.
Declaration.
Beautiful job, Stacey. And also, what is the Oslo Agreement?
Yeah, they've been talking about both of these on talk radio recently. So I'm probably sure that's how you know, Nas, because I've heard about them talking about it for the last couple of days for the last couple of days they've been talking about it. So
Nas, tell us about
you
it.
did your homework.
We're
You
trying
did your
to get,
homework, Nas.
we're
this is
trying
the
to get
Oslo
points of
Accords.
information
This
to
is
see.
the Oslo Accords. The
Thank you,
Oslo Accords
Stacey.
are a pair of agreements between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, also known as the PLO. The Oslo I Accord signed in Washington, D.C. in 1993, and the Oslo II signed in Taba, Egypt in 1995. They mark the start of the Oslo process, a peace process aimed at achieving a peace treaty based on the Resolution 242, Resolution 338, and the United Nations Security Council at fulfilling the right of the Palestinian people to self-determination.
There we go. Now,
Right
last question. I'm gonna leave you guys alone. I'm just making a point here. What is the difference between Zionism and Judaism?
What is it?
Well, there's not much difference. Not in
Sir?
my understanding. No.
Sir?
No.
As a Christian?
Yeah, as a Christian, I know that Zion represents the scriptures, and I know that Judaism represents the scriptures. They're both implied in the scriptures.
No,
I do know the Bible.
One is an actual religion. The other is a political philosophy.
Exactly, but they're still
no, not exactly. That's not what you just said.
Yes, they are.
No. You just compared a religion to a political philosophy. Those are two separate things.
Well, it's the same thing with Christianity and the American founding.
Yeah, so two
The
separate
American
things. You wouldn't
founding
call
is
those
based on
similar.
Christianity,
Exactly. You wouldn't call
Judeo-Christianity.
those things similar. So again, I'm asking these questions not to be mean or try to embarrass you guys. I'm saying this to
Not
say
embarrassed at all.
I'm
not
sure.
embarrassed.
I'm
No,
sure.
you're
We're
not.
normal
I'm
people.
asking.
I've heard on talk shows in the last couple of days, they've talked
heard
about
those words
the
a lot?
two things you're talking about.
Okay.
So you're not original. This is not some, let me bring up something I learned in college 25 years ago.
Well, it's not about showing off anything.
No, it's just sorry, man. It shows a weakness in your personality. It shows you to be weak. If you want to make other people feel bad, that's your intention. That's why you're saying it's not my intention. It's not my intention because you want to make people feel bad.
No, because
you're a little man. You're a little tiny man that's too scared to show your damn face. You're a little tiny man. Because that's what you are, man. And you want to make other people feel as little as you. But you know what? It ain't going to work with Keith and I. Because me and Keith are giants compared to you.
I didn't try to make you feel small. I didn't try to make you feel small.
We're giants compared to you, man.
The point in asking those questions was,
keep it up.
If you're going to speak on this topic, the basics should already be covered.
So you support Hamas. You're on the side of Hamas or you on the side of Israel? What side are you on? You won't tell me. See? You won't tell me, see?
I told you.
So shut up. Then shut up. Because I know what side you're on. You're on the side of complete evil. You're on the side that says they want to eradicate the Jew. The Jews don't say, I want to eradicate. Shut up. The Jews don't say, I want to eradicate the Hamas or Palestinians. They don't want to kill them all. But Hamas and Iran want to eliminate the Jews from Israel. So what side are you on? Are you on the side that says we don't want to kill anybody? Or are you on the side that says I want to kill everybody? Because they don't want just Israel. They want America. You're on the side of evil. And you can't even admit it because you know you're evil.
I told you.
You know you're evil.
I've answered your question 3 times and now you're repeating yourself.
Answer the question. Are you on Hamas side or are you on Israel's side?
Now you've asked me that 5 times and I told you no every time. I've told you no.
So wait, stop. I just want you to look at this. What is the Balfour Declaration? And it says the Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing its support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, then an Ottoman region with a small minority Jewish population. The declaration was contained in a letter dated 2nd of November 1917 from the United Kingdom's Foreign Secretary.
So that's from the United Kingdom. That's a resolution. It's not a law. It's not law.
Well, it actually was because this was the UN stepping in and saying they're going to decide.
Yeah, but the UN has no authority.
How this land was. Well, they did it, Keith.
No.
And see, this is why I wanted you to know these things before we had the discussion.
You had your chance. Now let me respond.
Go ahead. I'm not stopping.
I'm saying that Israel is a sovereign nation, just like the United States is. We have a constitution. Israel has. No, wait a minute. Now, come on. Now, be honest here. Let's just talk. Right. Okay, Israel. Why should they have to concede to a resolution made by the British, who at that time probably had more territory than they do now, obviously, because China is dominating everything now. But the point is, that is a resolution. If they signed
it, did they agree to it?
I don't care if they agreed to it or not. Okay, the laws.
Yeah. Now you see how this conversation becomes different with that piece of information.
Wait a minute. Let me finish.
So what are we even talking about?
I love this. Wait a minute.
Let me finish my statement.
Keith is thinking about this now.
This is why you guys. Go ahead, brother. This is why we can't have a conversation. You guys. You're not.
You're saying they shouldn't have agreed to it. Then
hold on. Let me finish my statement.
Go ahead.
My statement is there is a higher law. Okay, even if they did, it was even if it's the prime minister of Israel, they are not. That doesn't mean that the original contract or covenant which God made with Israel is also obliterated. That is not the way it goes. You don't understand that spiritual aspect, so I'm not going to try to explain all of that to you. It's like casting pearl before swine. So I'm not going to do it.
All right.
But
okay. So Stacey did a great job explaining.
Case,
Go ahead.
Thank you for that, Nam.
We always have to
Nam,
dive
thank
back
you for bringing that up. I
into
appreciate that.
doctrine in order to
We're
try to
out of
prove
time.
the
It's
point.
9 o'clock.
But
No, good
again,
job,
that's
those. Good
We're out of
job.
time.
saying God's law supersedes man's law for the chosen
yes, it
people.
does.
That's basically
Yes,
what
it
you're
does.
saying.
Yes,
Yes, it does.
But only for Israel. If that happened in the United States,
No,
man,
that's for all. That's for all of the world, the whole world.
no,
And
but
you guys
they're
just don't
chosen
realize.
people. So you're saying
Keith,
it's only
Keith,
if
last
you
week.
continue, you better be quiet for I ask you another question.
You can ask.
Now,
no, because when you ask them questions, they have to think, and if they think,
No.
their head
See,
hurts.
I can't get my questions out because for one, with all due respect, Stacey, this is not the nature of the show because Stacey is telling us now we got to go. So it takes a little while for me to answer this question.
Like time that you're using
interrupt.
right now by stalling. So when we're having this conversation, now he knows what the Balfour Declaration is. He has a better idea about how all of this came about. That's what all I was saying. And when you do that, you have a more informed show because next time you would come on, not only would you be able to handle my little question, you would have been able to smack me down like, oh, you thought I didn't know, but I knew. See, that would have been a beautiful moment for you.
Let me ask you another question.
Go ahead,
does
sir.
Does the Declaration of Independence carry any weight of law over the Constitution?
Does the Declaration of Independence?
I'm talking about the United States Declaration of Independence.
right.
Because the Declaration of Independence was a declaration to Britain that we were free. The Constitution comes after. So no, those are two separate things. Now you
understand the principle. Okay, so
no. I think you're the one having the problem understanding. So hold on.
But not law.
Hold on. The Balfour Declaration was written by Britain about an area they didn't own, control, or anything else, and the UN enforced it. That's why we have the trouble we have today.
But
there needs to be a two-state solution. I'm not pro-Hamas. I'm not pro-Israel.
Okay,
it needs
so
to be
we
a two-state
Okay.
peaceful solution. That's the answer.
So we differ. That solution is not.
No,
the
you
solution.
want to eradicate
Because
them.
God
I
already
want a
made a
two-state
covenant.
solution.
Israel
That's the
already
difference.
made a covenant with God.
Now, simple question.
will
Well,
not-
no, that's
They will not live
nonsense.
peacefully.
Now, simple
Not
question.
gonna work.
Simple
They
question.
will not live peacefully. They want to kill them. You can't
simple
love the neighbor
question.
who's trying to cut your head off.
I'm sure you're really well versed on these topics when you didn't know the basics. But simple
You know what? You
question.
didn't know the basics either. Stacy already had the papers
I've
ready
known
to
this
show
for a
us.
long time.
Stacy had the papers ready to
Oh,
show
you
us.
think me
You
and
didn't tell
Stacey
us a damn
coordinated?
thing. You know what?
You
If
think
you
me
knew
and
it, you
Stacey
should have told us.
coordinated?
You should have told us what you knew about it. But Stacy read everything to us like we're school children. You didn't tell us anything.
Well, I think
How
she
hard
needed
was
to.
it for you to say, hey,
I
do you
think she
know
needed
that?
to.
Hey, do you know that?
I'm
Hey, do
sorry
you know
you were
this?
embarrassed. I'm
You're
sorry.
goofy, man. You're just goofy.
Okay,
You're just
one
goofy.
more simple question.
Hey,
One
in your
more
Disney
simple
world,
question.
you're goofy.
One more simple question. Is Israel
Is
the only nation
Now
in
this
the
is not the
world
bully.
that does not have declared borders? Simple question.
No.
That would be incorrect. Israel's the only nation in the world that doesn't have declared borders because they're with settlements every year.
Nope. Sorry, sir. Israel has a border.
Israel has the borders that they will not compromise on. They will not compromise on the border that they have now. They may expand out. They may expand out, but nobody's getting in exactly where they are.
Stacey, when you do a
We'll
hockey
finish
show,
this next week.
I will not comment because I know nothing about hockey. Stephen and Keith, next time we do a show about this conflict, if y'all not gonna read up, please mute up.
Well, I tell you what,